a tale of karma and redemption. Prince Wicked's betrayal of Buddha. Once upon a time in the realm of Benares reigned King Devadatta. His son, Prince Wicked, bore a reputation as fierce as a cornered serpent. His tongue dripped with venom, and his hand was quick to deliver blows. Such character earned him the disdain of both the courtiers within the palace walls and the common folk beyond them. One day, Prince Wicked, accompanied by a retinue as vast as his arrogance, ventured to the riverbank for a bath. As the heavens darkened and thunder rumbled, the prince commanded his attendants, "Escort me to the heart of the river, cleanse me, and hasten my return." Yet as they walked deeper into the waters, whispers among the servants grew louder, poisoned by the prince's malevolence. "This prince is an ill omen," they muttered. "Let's get rid of him and spare the world of his wickedness here and now." With treacherous intent, they submerged Prince Wicked beneath the churning currents and then returned to the king's presence, pretending innocence. King Devadatta inquired, "Where is my son?" To which the servants replied with practiced deceit, "We don't know, Your Majesty. A sudden tempest brewed and we retreated, assuming he had preceded us." Upon hearing the troubling news, King Devadatta rushed to the riverbank, issuing commands for every able-bodied soul to scour the area in search of his missing son. But amidst the storm, Prince Wicked remained unseen, carried away by the relentless currents of the river. Unaware of the frantic search party, the prince found refuge upon a sturdy tree trunk, clinging to it for dear life as he drifted downstream. Little did he know, fate had intertwined his destiny with that of two other beings, each driven by their insatiable desires for riches. A wealthy treasurer of Benares, driven by greed, had hidden 40 gold coins along the riverbank. In his next life, he found himself reincarnated as a serpent, coiled atop his former fortune. Similarly, another man, consumed by the lust for wealth, had buried 30 gold coins in the same vicinity, only to return as a rat guarding his meager hoard. As the rising waters breached their makeshift dwellings, the snake and the rat sought refuge, emerging from their submerged abodes to find themselves face to face with the unexpected sight of the prince perched upon the tree trunk. Without hesitation, they ascended opposite ends of the trunk, settling themselves alongside the bewildered royal, united by the peculiar twists of destiny. Nestled upon the riverbank stood a majestic tree, its leafy canopy sheltering a young parrot within its branches. But as the relentless downpour increased the river's strength, the tree succumbed to nature's force, crashing onto the water's surface. With wings rendered useless by the storm, the young parrot sought refuge on one side of the fallen trunk, joining the unlikely quartet of travelers swept along by the river's unforgiving currents. Meanwhile, in the realm of Kasi, the future Buddha was born in the household of a Brahmin. As he matured into adulthood, an inner calling led him to renounce worldly comforts, seeking refuge in the ascetic's life. Choosing a humble leaf hut nestled along the river's bend as his dwelling, he dedicated himself to meditation and introspection. In the dead of night, amidst his tranquil vigil, the lamentations of the royal prince pierced the silence, reaching the ears of the enlightened one. Filled with compassion, the future Buddha decided that such a soul should not perish within his sight. With serene determination, he grasped one end of the tree trunk and, with a strength born of compassion, began to pull. With the might of an elephant, the future Buddha effortlessly guided the tree trunk to the safety of the riverbank, where he gently lifted the prince from the water's grasp and carried him to dry land. Not stopping there, he extended his benevolent hand to the serpent, the rat, and the parrot, gathering them and leading them to his humble hermitage. Kindness radiated from the future Buddha as he tended to the needs of his newfound companions. Recognizing their vulnerability, he prioritized their well-being, first soothing the chilled bodies of the animals before attending to the prince's comfort. However, the prince, blinded by his royal entitlement, perceived the ascetic's actions as an offense against his status. Envy took root within him as he watched the future Buddha bestow kindness upon creatures he deemed beneath his notice. Yet despite the prince's resentful thoughts, the days passed, and under the care of the ascetic, all four beings regained their strength and vitality. As the river's fury waned, the serpent, now restored, humbly approached the ascetic, gratitude shimmering in its gaze. Grateful for the future Buddha's compassionate intervention, the snake, with sincerity in its voice, pledged its gratitude. "I can repay you for your kindness," it declared. "In a designated place I have buried 40 gold coins. When the time comes and you are in need, call upon me, and I shall aid you." With those words, the serpent slithered away, leaving behind a promise of future assistance. Likewise, the rat, moved by the ascetic's generosity, offered its own vow of assistance. "Stand in a specific location and call upon me," it instructed the ascetic. "I shall be there to offer aid when you require it." And with those words, the rat scurried off into the darkness, leaving its pledge echoing in the air. Similarly, the parrot, though lacking material wealth, bestowed a promise of sustenance. "I have no riches to offer," it chirped humbly, "but in a certain place where self-sown rice grows abundantly, call upon me, and I shall provide for your needs." With a graceful flutter of its wings, the parrot departed, leaving behind a promise as precious as any treasure. Yet as for the prince, his heart remained hardened by his treacherous nature. Though he spoke words of friendship, inwardly he plotted betrayal, hiding thoughts of violence against the future Buddha. "When I am firmly seated upon my throne," he proclaimed, "then shall you come to me, and I shall grant you whatever you desire." The prince departed with false promises lingering in the air. As fate would have it, the prince ascended to kingship in due time, and the future Buddha, mindful of the promises made, resolved to put each to the test. Beginning with the snake, he ventured to the designated place and called out its name. At the mere utterance of his call, the snake emerged obediently from its hiding place, bowing before the future Buddha in reverence. "In this place," it offered, "there are 40 gold coins. Take them all with you, honored one." But the future Buddha, ever mindful of his principles, gently declined. "Let them remain undisturbed," he responded, "and should the need arise, I shall consider it then." With a nod of understanding, he allowed the serpent to return to its home. Next, he sought out the rat, who echoed the snake's gesture of gratitude, offering its hidden wealth without hesitation. And when the future Buddha called upon the parrot, it too fulfilled its promise, presenting its bounty with unwavering loyalty. With each encounter, the future Buddha observed the sincerity of the creature's gratitude, reaffirming his belief in the power of kindness and compassion. Yet to test the true nature of the king, the future Buddha decided upon a bold course of action. Spending the night in the royal garden, he emerged the following day adorned in resplendent attire, venturing into the heart of the city. Unaware of it, the king, accompanied by his retinue, was also making his rounds through the city. As their paths converged, the king's eyes fell upon the ascetic, instantly recognizing him. In his heart, however, waited a dark intent fueled by resentment and ingratitude. "Here stands the false ascetic," he mused, "who dares to enter my domain. Little does he know his life is forfeit for the service he rendered me." Upon sighting the ascetic, the king's heart hardened with disdain, convinced of the man's deceitful intentions. In a swift and merciless order, he commanded his servants, "Seize that impostor. Do not grant him even a glance. Take him from our midst, beat him at every intersection, and deliver him to the execution grounds where his head shall meet the blade." Following their sovereign's orders without question, the servants bound the future Buddha and commenced their grim procession through the city streets. At each crossroad, they unleashed their fury upon the ascetic, delivering blows with ruthless force. Yet amidst the brutality, the future Buddha remained serene, his lips moving in silent prayer. With each strike, he uttered a poignant verse. "True is this saying of some men of the world, driftwood is worth more than some men." His words did not fall upon deaf ears, for nearby wise man and woman of the locality overheard his lamentations. Intrigued, they approached the beaten ascetic, seeking to understand the cause of his unfortunate situation. "What grievance lies between you and our king?" they inquired. "What offense have you committed to earn such punishment?" With solemn candor, the future Buddha related the tale of his benevolent deeds and the subsequent betrayal he faced at the hands of the king. "I alone," he confessed, "by extending my hand in aid, have brought this suffering upon myself. My folly lies in disregarding the wisdom of ages past." Upon hearing the tale of treachery and ingratitude, a righteous fury ignited within the hearts of warriors, Brahmins and citizens alike. Enraged by the king's terrible betrayal of friendship and virtue, they rose as one, their collective wrath manifested in a torrent of arrows, spears, rocks, and clubs. In a swift and decisive act of retribution, they handed out justice to the deceitful monarch, ensuring that his reign of betrayal came to a decisive end. As the dust settled and peace returned to the land, the future Buddha concluded the tale, revealing the identities of the personages involved. "So know this," he declared to his attentive audience, "not only in this present existence has Devadatta sought my demise, but in a previous life as well." With solemn clarity, he unveiled the truth. The king in this tale was Devadatta. The snake represented Shariputra, the rat embodied Moggallana, and the parrot symbolized Ananda. Thus, the lesson of karma revealed the complex interplay between past actions and present circumstances, serving as an eternal reminder of the enduring influence of virtue and the inescapable repercussions awaiting those who betray trust.